Hello.
Okay, Brian, will you tell the folks out there about yourself? Some may know you, some may not. And tell us about yourself.
Well, my name is Brian W. Smith, and I'm the author of 37 novels. K.A.R.E.N is my 37th novel. I been writing for almost 20 years, 18 years now. And when I am not writing novels, I ghostwrite several novels. I probably ghostwrite 3 or 4 novels a year for other people. And I also own a company called the Script Repository, where I adapt people's novels to screenplays so that it can be pitched to Hollywood. And let's see, when I'm not doing that, I'm a college professor. I teach creative writing at a college here in Dallas, Texas, where I live. I'm from New Orleans, born and raised. And yeah, that's me.
Wow, a lot of things, a lot of facets to you. This book here, we talked a little bit about it, K.A.R.E.N. I know we know in society what has happened and folks got the K.A.R.E.N thing going around, but you give us a good field and a good view, I would say, on this. And that, you know, at a moment I did have to catch myself. I'll just speak for myself and some people in my group, they had to catch themselves. And as I told you earlier before we got on, that we were up all night, a whole week talking about this and going through different characters and different things like that. So give us the backdrop of this book. Tell us the backdrop of K.A.R.E.N.
Well, first of all, let me thank you for having me on. I appreciate you, Ellen, for giving me this platform to talk about the book. So the idea for K.A.R.E.N came from, I get book ideas from the weirdest places and at the weirdest time. So I forget what the issue was, but it was during the pandemic when we were on lockdown. And I forget what the issue was, but something went viral. And I think the reason why I have a hard time remembering exactly what the issue was is because it was several issues that I noticed the same thing. And that same thing that I noticed was that when you see the issue, the video clip of something that goes viral, I have a tendency to read the comments. I'm always curious to see what people have to say about what it is we all just watched. And I noticed a common theme, and that is, regardless of how blatantly offensive something was on a video that goes viral, if you read the comments, there are always several different opinions about the same video. And I found that fascinating. One of my degrees is in sociology, so which is basically the study of people, right? So I have a tendency to look for the nuances in conversations and look for the why, as opposed to focusing too heavy on the issue. I'm always intrigued by the why. Why did this happen and why do people feel the way they do? So I noticed a pattern that people could see the same video, but a lot of people would have the different opinion about the same video. Mm-hmm. And it dawned on me that the reason why there's so many different opinions about the same video, and you know that we're not all crazy, and that is because people have a habit of allowing their opinions about an issue to be formulated by the baggage that they brought into the issue. Mm-hmm. So in other words, whatever you see, more often than not, the opinion you serve up about that topic, more often than not, has less to do with that topic and more to do with the baggage that you had about that topic before you saw the incident.
Yeah.
So with that as the backdrop, my observation, I decided I want to write a book about a K.A.R.E.N incident, which, I mean, those incidents became extremely popular during the pandemic lockdown
Yes.
because people were losing their minds, right? Claustrophobia was kicking in, people were just on edge, right? So because I've been doing this long enough that I understand that there's nothing new under the sun. Anything you can do has already been done. So I thought to myself, anyone can write a book about a K.A.R.E.N incident, some white woman losing it, going crazy. I mean, any writer can do that. But I pride myself on being different. My brand, if you look at my catalog, I don't take the easy route to addressing topics. I like to find the gray areas and exploit those. So I thought it would be interesting not to just write a book about a K.A.R.E.N episode, a K.A.R.E.N incident. I thought it would be more interesting to write about the people who witnessed the K.A.R.E.N incident. Going back to my original point, and how the 5 people who witnessed this K.A.R.E.N incident in a coffee shop, when they are approached by the police and asked for their statements are tainted by the baggage that they brought into the coffee shop that day. So I thought it would be clever if the 5 people, their names made up K.A.R.E.N. That's why the book, it's written as an acronym form. K.A.R.E.N. It's an acronym. The acronym stands for Kim, Amy, Richard, Ernesto, and Nigel, the 5 people who witnessed the incident. So the K.A.R.E.N episode is the catalyst for the story, but the story really is about the people who witnessed it and their baggage.
Yeah, that's what drew me in as a reader. And to have those names exactly as you named them. And like you said, the baggage that they brought when they were looking at or their observation. Michael, I want to talk about Michael, the professor. I want to talk about, it seems that different, without telling the story, because we are readers and we don't like giving the story away. Right. But just kind of skimming around it with Michael having the issue of being pulled over by a policeman. He had this certain type of car. And we go through this a lot. And what got me was when he said, and I don't know if anybody ever heard that, "Are you scared?" That made my blood just boil. Well, if it made your blood boil in the book, it should do something more to you to know that that is based on a true event. And I am Michael. Whoa. So about I would say probably about 4 or 5 years ago, here in McKinney, Texas, where I live, I got pulled over by a female cop. And as she was walking up to my window, and I'm winding down my window to get ready for the confrontation or the exchange, before she asked my name, driver's license, anything, the first thing she asked me is, "Are you scared?" Which pissed me off, because my response was, "Should I be? Is that what they taught you at the academy? Is that so yeah, that's how the exchange went down." So, and I'm a professor, I said that too. I said, I wonder if Brian is Michael. Yeah, that Michael, yes, I am that part of it. You know what I'm saying? That part of it, that being a springboard for, kind of starting the story, that part of it is me. The professor and being stopped by the cop. No, I'm not married to a white woman, but that stuff's not true. But the part about the professor being stopped by the cop and that starting this dialogue with his students
which led to everything that happened. Yeah, that was me.
That was, I mean, even in, like you say, in the story in heaven, the white wife, and I can see like it doesn't happen to them, the type of racism, it doesn't happen to him, and the different dialect they was having about, you know, as the story unfolded, and she didn't quite see it, and then having a very racist father, but yet married to a Black man. What made me mad about Amy is she kept calling her child a demon child. I was upset about that. So what was her deal with her daughter? Did she not like her daughter being biracial? Did she? I was highly upset. Me and Queenie were very upset about her saying it about her child.
No, I can honestly tell you that particular part, no, that was not meant to be some subliminal. That was, I have heard, matter of fact, that came from me hearing a Black mom talk about her terrible two child. So it wasn't, that part wasn't meant to be any deeper than the fact that, to me, referring to a rambunctious baby as a demon child isn't that much different than calling a child terrible too. And that phrase is ingrained in our lexicon. The terrible twos. Well, that you're calling your child terrible.
And I guess that was, like you say, when you bring the baggage, my eyesight on that, bringing the baggage of, yes, she is biracial, but why would she say that? Do she not like the Black side?
No, not in that particular case. Amy's issue, at least from a writer's perspective, that was not Amy's issue. With me writing the story, Amy's issue and her character was written to highlight how there are people who would like to act like racial issues don't exist. Can we all just get along? Let's just all hold hands and sing Kumbaya. And more often than not, those are the people who aren't impacted by it. So what you had is this white woman married to a Black man, and also she loved him and she loved their child. There are some things about being Black she will never understand. And that was a constant bone of contention in their marriage. And Amy, because she had a father who she admitted was racist, she tried to overcompensate by going to the extreme and saying and doing everything she can to prove that she's not like her dad. She married a Black man. She had a biracial child. Her best friend is Black. Like she went to the total extreme to send this message that I'm nothing like my father. However, even with that extremist take, there's still things about being Black that regardless of how accommodating she is to our race, she will never understand.
I like Kim, the way she talked to her, that one scene where, you know, she talked to her about that incident that happened in the coffee house. I really like how she did that.
That scene was designed to, that scene was designed to call Amy out on what I just said. There's a line in there where Kim says, I don't have the time or desire to explain to you why Black people feel invisible.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah. And also with Robert.
Richard.
And there was a Robert there, but not for that, but Richard. At first, I thought he was Black. I don't know what made me think he was Black. I thought he was a Black man hating Black people and trying to have this white persona.
Well, that would be Nigel at the end.
That would be Nigel at the
That would
end.
be Nigel. Nigel's, so the character makeups were Kim, single parent, nurse, raising her teenage boy on her own. Amy, her white best friend, married to a black man. Richard, the shop owner who is conservative Republican, MAGA hat wearing conservative. Ernesto, the undocumented immigrant.
Yeah.
Who he just want to remain undercover. He ain't looking for no trouble. He ain't trying to be in no trouble. And his whole dilemma, and what I tried to drive home and bring up in the book is when it gets to the end of the book and they start giving their statements, etc. There's a reason why I double back in the book and I wrote about everyone's history so that by the time they got to that diner, it made more sense. So by the time everything goes down, my hope is that as the reader, you may not agree with Ernesto's position, but you might understand how someone who's undocumented and shouldn't be here doesn't want to be involved in this situation, even if he knows that his statements could clear things up.
Yeah, but I saw when that happened to him, that incident happened to him, and I never thought of that could be happening to them, but they do try to come over as best as they can, no matter what it takes. But then when I saw that incident right there, that happened to him, I was like, wow, I never even thought about that. And something brought that up. But just how he sent his take care of his mother.
The entire book, Ernesto, there was a pattern in Ernesto's character where he was dealing with things that because of his undocumented status, being an illegal alien, immigrant, he couldn't tell anybody. So Ernesto found himself in total self-preservation mode the entire book. He couldn't tell the fact that it was one of the reasons why his inability to tell any truths led to Richard exploiting him.
Yeah.
If you work for me and I gave you a job and you're an illegal immigrant and I underpay you, who you gonna tell?
Right.
You can get mad all you want, but who you gonna tell? And if you quit, where you gonna get another job? And if you quit, I might just make the snitch phone call and get you arrested by ISIS. So Ernesto, in his desire to come to America and find this new life, finds that there's a line in there I wrote where he's contemplating, he's thinking, and he basically says to himself, as crazy as it sounds, life in Mexico was easier than being an illegal immigrant here in the US.
Let's talk about Nigel a little bit. And I know that I was talking about Richard in that way too, but for some reason, I did think that he was, when he was back in the back and the way he was talking about Black people being close. I don't know why I thought that, but I clearly knew about Nigel and how he felt. And so we have Sonia here. Sonia, you may have met Brian.
What's up, Sonia? How you doing, babe?
Hi, how are you? I'm good.
So I can ask the question now that she's on here. We can elaborate more about the first question you asked in the book. But Sonia, what about your feelings toward K.A.R.E.N in the beginning? How were you feeling? Because I was angry. I wanted to throw the book. I was just so mad.
Same here. I wanted to reach in the book and snatch someone out of the book.
That means I got your attention.
I wanted to be like, because here's the thing with Miss Karen and me. If I'm standing in line waiting, you're gonna wait just like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was there. I don't care what you have to do. Who knows how long that young man was standing in line waiting to get his beignets and his coffee and stuff like that. I've been in that situation before. Amusement park, for example, lines can be so long. And you have certain people who have their kids and it's hot and it's like, man, can I? No, you cannot. Because you're going to stand there in the hot sun just like me
You
and
know,
wait
I
your turn.
decided to use that incident. I mean, I could have used a lot of situations, but I chose that incident because it is, look, Ralph Ellison talks about in his book, The Invisible Man. The opening line in Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison is, I am an invisible man. That's the opening line. And every Black person in America, especially if you're over the age of 30, has had a moment when they were made to feel invisible.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that is rooted in the fact that we are not valued and therefore we aren't worthy of noticing.
Yeah.
Well, you know
So,
what?
I mean, if,
I'm sorry, just to think about it. I had a situation that happened just like that to me the other day. I didn't spaz out or anything because I was standing in line waiting. I actually forgot where I was. And then this lady, I think I was in a department store. I think I was in Kohl's. And there's a line, but she actually went around the line and then they helped her because she was like, well, I was already standing here. I don't care if you were standing there. The line doesn't start there. The line start behind all the other
Mm-hmm.
people who was actually waiting in front of you. But they went ahead and helped her. I mean, I was totally pissed, but
well,
I was like, okay, you
and
know
that's
what?
why I wrote that. That's why I wrote that because, look, especially as the father of two grown sons now, but
Yeah.
you have to teach your kids, especially Black boys,
Mm-hmm.
how to deal with certain situations. And I guess the point that I wanted to make in choosing that as the catalyst for this story is to show how quickly things can go from 0 to 100.
Mm-hmm.
And although in the big scheme of things, it's an argument about a place in line, which is real small in the big scheme of things.
Mm-hmm.
But psychologically and emotionally, with all of our baggage, it's big.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It's small, but it's big.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I chose to, because I know there is a universal scenario that Black people from New Orleans, where I'm from, to Dallas, where I live, to San Francisco, to New York, most Black people have had an invisible moment.
Mm-hmm.
So
Most definitely.
the fundamental question becomes, and this was Nigel circling back, pivoting back to the character
Yeah.
Nigel.
Yeah.
Nigel's fundamental argument was, even with his girlfriend in the car, is that Black people have a lot to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to decide, for lack of a better way of saying it, what hill do you want to die on?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we can deal with being overlooked at our job. We can deal with being called the N-word. There are a lot of things worth fighting over and arguing over. The fundamental question becomes, was that worth fighting over and subsequently dying for?
I don't think it was, but he was right in saying that, I'm not invisible. And like Sonia had said too, I had those invisible moments, and sometimes I left it alone, and sometimes I say, well, I'm in line, and then they say, oh, I'm sorry, you were in line. And then there's time where I've seen some go up front. And so still, and like Brian, you may know, you may not know, but Sonia know, I just turned 60. And I'm like, I've been in that time when Martin Luther King died when I was like 7 years old, 7 or 5 or 6, between 5, 6 and years old. And I've seen those things. It's like it's turning back around again. And I was telling my daughter, or maybe my son, one of the two, that we constantly on this preparing ourselves for life. We don't just live as white people would. They can just jump off a building while we've been spending our lives trying to live. They just high free. And my daughter would mention, yeah, they are more happier because they don't have these things going on. And so when they do, they don't see it. And at first I had girls first. So 3 daughters, and I didn't know with the Black women, I was not in touch with them saying, this is my son, holding on to my son and all, because I had all girls first. So I didn't have to go through that. And then when I had my son, I would have to tell him, when you go in the store, back away from the counter, put your hoodie down, don't tie your shoe close. And I was exhausted just from that. And I'm like, why do we have to do all this? And with Nigel saying this with his girl and everything, and how he see these different things, there was some times that Nigel did say that, or one of the characters, so we won't give anything away, one of the characters did say, well, he did have the stereotype. He did, he was very Tupac shirt on, and the way he talked, and it was almost like this Black person was saying that it was warranted and it should have happened.
Let me be clear about Nigel's character. I don't know how many of my books y'all have read, but I purposely, I set out to write books that split the room.
Mm-hmm.
I think that part of the problem in the literary industry, especially on the Black side of the house, is that there are too many safe novels.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's got these kumbaya endings, and they just drive me crazy. I can't stand that, right? Because the real world ain't that simple.
Yes.
So I like to write real books about real people, about real events. And that's my brand. So with Nigel, look, I also try, and maybe this is the creative writing professor in me, but I teach my students and I try to practice it when I'm writing my own books. We are not a monolith. We are unique, each one of us, and we are layered. So with that being said, my goal in writing Nigel's character was to make him seem like a jerk in some points. However, I also wanted him to make some very cogent points, some very valid points that made Black folk go, well, I don't like him, but he got a point right there.
Yeah, that was me.
Most definitely. Yeah.
So there was a part when he's talking to his Uncle Jamal, and his Uncle Jamal says, why don't you like being Black? And Nigel says, it's not that I don't like being Black, I just don't like nigga shit.
Yeah.
So his Uncle Jamal asked him, explain what you mean by nigga shit. And he proceeds to break down a few nigga shit episodes, even down to coming to work and clocking in and spending the first 30 minutes eating. When you know these white folk sitting here watching.
Yes, yes.
So my point is that there may be some things that Nigel said and did in the book that you didn't like. But does that mean some fundamental? I put the question in the back of the book. Is Nigel ashamed of being Black, or is Nigel a proud Black person who has no problem calling Black folk out?
I would say, yeah, I would say the latter, because the latter part, I think he was very proud of being Black. I start seeing what he was saying, because I don't think every Black stereotype speaks for all. It doesn't.
But back to his, So if you may like the example he gave about the eating breakfast on the clock, when you know we the only two Black people in this company and all these white folk, why you making us look bad? That's kind of his argument.
Yeah.
And this is why I say, this is why I like to write layered and complex characters, because there are people who agreed with that statement, but then turned around and got equally mad with him when he starts saying stuff like, look, if you walk around with your pants hanging off your butt, looking like you about ready to rob the place, sagging, fitting every stereotype of young Black teenage men,
Yeah.
who you mad at when they walk up on you and start treating you like a thug?
Yeah.
Nigel's argument is that's a self-inflicted wound. And before you get mad at anybody, get mad at yourself for perpetuating the stereotype.
Yeah.
Now, here's where it gets interesting. Look, my books, 95% of my audience is females. So you got a lot of mamas, protective mamas raising their boys. Oh, don't tell me nothing about my baby, right? They sons could be the biggest knuckleheads on the planet, but to that mama, he walks on water. So Nigel's character was designed to make you, the female reader, and the male reader for that matter, those men who do read my books, but it just so happens my audience is predominantly women, just the way it is, because we know that traditionally men don't gravitate to fiction. They just don't. But the goal was to make, if I could get one mother step away from that book and look at their son looking the same way Nigel just described in this book, and if it makes that mama go, son, pause. You're not walking out here like that. Then is Nigel really a jerk?
I don't think they
See,
will.
sometimes I am of the opinion, and I do this purposely with my characters. I think sometimes we as a people, we get too caught up in the appearance of the messenger and don't listen to the message. So somebody can say, I saw this recently with the brother that just died, that everyone was the self-proclaimed love doctor, the dude that just died.
Yeah.
I listened to the brother a couple of times just to hear what all the hoopla was about. He was a jerk. May he rest in peace. His delivery left a lot to be desired. However, he actually dropped a few nuggets a couple of times I listened to him.
Yeah.
But because his delivery was so off-putting, it tuned people out to the message. Then there were times when he would say stuff and I'd be like, that was unnecessary. The criticism was warranted, is what I'm saying. However, that don't mean he didn't say some real stuff sometimes.
That's right.
Sometimes people get so caught up in their feelings, they're so busy focusing on the messenger that they're not listening to the message. So I wanted Nigel to kind of be that character. He came across as this bougie brother, uptight, dating white women. And because I know 99% of my readers are Black females, I know they'd be pissed off by him. But that don't mean he didn't drop an occasional nugget or two.
He dropped some nuggets.
He did.
So the question becomes, I try to challenge my readers. Can you get out of your feelings long enough to listen to the message?
Yeah, I listened.
So with Nigel, just like, okay, I have a son. He's 27. My son, when he was younger, growing up and stuff, because I was a single mom with him before I had my daughter, always had his hair cut. You're not walking around with your pants sagging looking like a thug, because I'm not having that, because you're going to be stereotyped. You know, like when you go to a job, you're going to dress nice. You're not going to wear jeans. You're going to wear some slacks. You're going to put on a nice button-down shirt, and you're going to have your hair cut, and you're going to go to that job interview and you're going to go kill it. If you go, I've been on panels and job interview where I've seen, just like Nigel was saying, how you going to come in there with this short dress on, nails way out to here?
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Before I became a writer, I spent a lot of years in corporate America, right? Running big departments and doing all this stuff. And one of my earlier jobs, I was the director of security for a shopping mall.
Mm-hmm.
So I was hiring these security guards. And I will never forget one day, a young man came in for a job interview. True story. I put this on everything. I'm in my office, suit and tie. He comes in. He had headphones on. And you know how they have the headphones on?
Yeah.
But then they drop the headphones and like put them around their neck. Like Sonya, like that, Sonya. He had his headphones like that, sagging, right? And a book bag on and kind of just flopped down. True story. Introduced myself, he introduced himself, and I just paused. I said, let me tell you something, young brother. I'm not hiring you.
Off the gate.
And he had this look like, you haven't even asked me the question. I said, I'm not hiring you. However, let me give you some advice. Let me tell you why I'm not hiring you.
Mm-hmm.
Because you didn't even have enough respect for me or yourself to come in here looking presentable.
Exactly.
And if you can't look, if you don't have enough respect for me or yourself to come presentable to a job interview, I'm not about to put you in this job, pay you what I'm going to pay you, sit you out there in the world and expect you to show good judgment. You're not even practicing good judgment on the job interview. So I just want you to know, I'm not giving you this job, but I want you to walk away from here knowing why I'm not giving you this job. And I hope that this piece of advice will make you do better on your next job interview. And I sent him on his way. So
dropping that gem.
I don't know whatever happened to a young brother, but I guarantee you he'll never forget me.
Yeah.
I don't know what he did on the next job interview, but I felt that was a lesson that needed to be learned, and I felt that it's not a lesson he would have learned if I had just coddled him. I think there's too much coddling going on, and as a result, you got a lot of women. And I might be getting off, but I think it's all relative. I hear so many women talk about, well, the good men and men don't do this. Well, a lot of times because they're being coddled during the stage of their life when they should be molded.
That's true. That's
true.
So,
pivot all the way back to the Nigel character. I know that Nigel had some stuff with him. I wrote him to be annoying. But in the midst of all that, I also wanted to give him some legitimate points.
Yeah.
And that was my goal with Nigel's character. And the Uncle Jamal's character was put in the book because his role was to challenge Nigel.
Yeah.
It would be, as a writer, it just wouldn't have landed right if I had just had Nigel just preaching.
Yeah.
So I gave him this uncle. For instance, his uncle said in the book, I wrote, there's a line in the book where his uncle said, I just got out of jail. I don't have anything to give you but some advice.
Yeah.
So nephew, you're doing well. You're making 6 figures. You're living out here in Cali. Hell, you were putting money on my books. There is nothing I can do for you right now but give you a little wisdom. So Jamal's character was solely designed to challenge his nephew and to make his nephew pause. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so that is why I wrote that the way I wrote that. But Sonya, you said something that triggered a thought in my mind. The Kim character, the single mother, that was a lot like you based on what you just said. Kim lost it. And this is an example of what Nigel was talking about when her son came home and got a tattoo on his neck.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm curious, Sonya, as a single mother, what was your reaction when you read that?
I was like, here's Kim raising her son. trying to do the best she can as a single parent because his dad is a deadbeat dad. And you're not listening. You're out there as a teenager, basically following the stereotype of every, I'm not going to say every single Black teenager.
But a lot of us, because all stereotypes
Yes.
are rooted in some truth. But
Exactly.
let me just jump in right here, Sonia, because the dad, in my opinion, I wrote him to be the worst type of deadbeat.
Yeah.
So you got the kind of deadbeat daddies that abandon and just go away. They don't provide no support. You never see them. They're baby makers and they leave.
Yeah.
That's the deadbeat. But then you got the next level deadbeat, because he is still around, but he's more of a problem than the solution.
Exactly.
So he's feeding his teenage son because he's so bitter that his mom has moved on. Instead of him trying to father this boy, he's trying to be the best friend, and he's telling him whatever he wants to hear.
Exactly.
Which makes him, so Dad, I want to get a tattoo. Okay, first of all, you're 15, 16 years old. How about you get some A's and B's on your report card? You know what I'm saying? We'll deal with tattoos after you graduate high school. But instead of giving that kind of advice, he's too busy trying to be the friend because he's not there.
Yes.
That's the worst kind of deadbeat. Oh, on top of that, you're not even providing financial and emotional support. You're just being a burden.
Yes.
So Brian, still talking with Kim and her son. So do you think, I mean, I know off the gate, he can like him if he like him or not. And sometimes you can see your mother and how that man take care of your mom and you can like him. Do you think that some of the reason why he didn't like the man is because of his father's influences and he wanted his father to be first?
Yeah, that's just
definitely.
That was, so there's a line in the book. Look, the apple don't fall far from the tree. And some behaviors are learned. His dad was toxic. And he wasn't there, and he was hating because he didn't want the mother to move on and do better. That's why he asked him, so would he drive?
Yeah.
Would he drive? See, I'm writing this stuff because I know of cats like this. I look, when I'm writing, I meet with a lot of book clubs every year. I probably meet, whether it be in person or Zoom, I probably meet somewhere between 30, 40 book clubs a year. And what I try to tell my audience is, with some of these characters, especially the male characters, I kind of want to take you into the barbershop.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
I kind of want to take you into the barbershop so you can hear these conversations men have that y'all aren't privy to. So that little line, I know it's subtle and it may not seem significant, but there's a lot implied in that question. So son, this new dude she messing with, what kind of car you drive? Because what you're doing is planting the seed that if the car is not impressive, the man is not worth respecting.
Exactly.
I hadn't thought about that.
Yes.
And that's, Ellen, that is why if you want to know about men, stop asking your girlfriend, ask other men.
Yes. Sonia, what did you think about Brian's question about his question he asked us at that first question in the back of the book that he asked us? What do you think about that question? Do you think Nigel was ashamed of being Black, or was he proud of Black man?
At first, I thought he was ashamed, but then I look at it as like he got out from whatever situation was in. He educated himself. You know, I think he was just a proud Black man, and like he said, he's not ashamed to be Black. He just can't stand niggerish shit. And I know what he means by niggerish.
We all do.
Okay.
We all do. That's what I'm saying.
Because
when I'm writing these books, I try, look, let's keep it real. We
I do
behind closed doors, behind closed doors, I'm sure that as women, there's some things about being a lot of things about being a woman I will never understand. But just like we men, we see dudes doing nigga shit. I'm sure y'all see women doing stuff you'd be like, God.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, Brian.
Yes.
Here's my. Okay, I'm glad you referenced Jay-Z Marcy projects because do or die best die, because I used to hang out in Marcy with my friends. I didn't live over there,
right?
But I used to hang out over there. Here's my female niggerish shit. I'm working hard, and you see these females over there in Marcy now. They got the big solid gold earrings. Their kids, they're wearing expensive name brand. You don't have a job. You get your nails done. Your hair is done. And I go over there and I say, I'm like, wait, I'm working hard like to make this coin. And they're living off the system. And I'm like, I'm counting my 2 pennies, but they are happy, smiling, kids wearing 2 years old, wearing designer this, designer that, hair did. And I'm like, this is some niggerish shit. You need to go out there and get you a job, huh?
You know, I use, so I'm a, if you can't tell, I'm a big Jay-Z fan.
Oh my God, not bigger than I am. You are not a bigger Jay-Z fan than I am.
But so that is why, like, I am one of those, I believe he's like the greatest rapper ever, right? But that's just me. For most people, he's Beyonce's husband.
No.
But for those of us who follow hip hop, knows that he's that dude.
He is that dude.
Beyonce is Jay-Z's wife. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it depends on what angle you look at it from. But however big she is in R&B, he is just as big in hip hop, right? So he is. Look, I'm a college educated man, right? And I grew up in the hood, so I could turn it off and on. I can turn it off and on. I can, whatever way you want to go, I can do. The thing that I like about Jay-Z is that he is so smart, and his rhymes are just, they're not just surface, they're usually double and sometimes triple entendres. And you have to really listen to it because what he's saying is deeper than what he's just saying. It's usually a double entendre. So with that being said, I thought to use the Jay-Z quote as a reference point to the college lesson that the professor was teaching. I'm trying to tick you off and entertain you and educate you. I'm trying to do all this stuff inside of a book that's only a certain amount of pages. Sometimes it's hard, but I knew where I was going. I knew I wanted to talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and I knew that that would be a perfect segue. Sometimes when I write and the college professor in me comes out, and I'm thinking about my own classes, you know what I'm saying? Because so all of that kind of comes into the books that I'm writing. But look,
but you know what?
Go ahead.
When you reference those things like Jay-Z, Bed-Stuy, Do or Die, Maslow, I work at a college, and I'm just like, if you have, and I was thinking, oh my God, like he's referencing Maslow. You will have someone read the book and have no idea what you're talking about. And I was like,
but that's okay.
Wow.
But that's, look, I'm glad you went there. I know that. But I want you, I want my books, any of my books that I've written, I shoot for some things. I want to write characters that make you mad in one chapter and you're rooting for in the second chapter, and then you're mad again in the third chapter. I want characters that take you on emotional roller coasters. I purposely throw a couple of words in there that's going to require you to go look them up. I do. And I just think that too much writing is too simplistic. And if you're going to spend 3, 4, 5 hours of your time, the least I can do as a writer is have you walk away hopefully smarter. Other than that, then what did I just do? I just wasted your time.
Yeah.
I wanted to go into the classroom of Dr. I'm saying Dr. Michael professor
Mhm.
classroom.
Mhm.
And to have the project, not give it all the way, and for him to have that thought, maybe because of the project, that he's the one who made this happen. Okay, I was looking at that and I was thinking, you're darn tootin' you made it happen. But then I was thinking, wait a minute, he was doing some points that's clearly already out there. What did you think, Sonia? Do you think that
But
Michael
okay,
promoted it?
when that situation
We're
happened,
not
and I
gonna
don't
give it
want to
away.
give it,
Not gonna give
I don't
away
want
the
to,
book.
Don't give it
okay,
away.
when that happened, I thought the same thing. I was like, oh my God. But then as I continued and I got to I was like, okay, so that wasn't,
Well, that was my. So
yes,
I just talked about Jay-Z and the double entendre.
yes,
For
you
those
threw me
people-
with that one.
Those people who are watching, a double entendre is simply a meaning within a meaning.
Mhm.
So something can say one word, but the word has multiple meanings. That's a double
Yeah,
entendre.
yeah.
So his phrases and his raps and his rhymes usually mean multiple things than what he's just said. What I want, and why is that important? Because the second, in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that second need, it's self-preservation, right? We all have the first fundamental need, which is those primitive needs, water, air.
Mhm. Mhm.
But that second, that's the one that usually causes some issues, because that is about security, self-preservation. And here's the double entendre in Michael's character. When the stuff went down and he started having those thoughts, Ellen, oh my goodness.
Mhm.
I don't know if you noticed, but Michael, the man who started all of this, he went into the bathroom and he went into self-preservation mode.
Yes,
Yes, he did.
First thing out of his mouth was, I'm gonna lose my job.
Yep.
I'm gonna get sued. And what I wanted you to catch was how even the most righteous of us have self-preservation moments.
Yes. Yes, he did. There's some things on the board and our time is almost up. It's always good. So Wendy said going back to Cedric, that Cedric wanted acceptance and wanted to hear that his father loved him. That's what she said. And then she also said he wanted to be an exception. I am educated. I am a good job. Have a good job and live in a nice neighborhood. His uncle schooled him about getting rid of the beard too. Yeah, the beard too.
That was Nigel, though.
I have to tell. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, Brian. Wait 1 minute. Let me tell you what I did on the beard search. My daughter and I, we went on we Googled. We seriously Googled based on what you said. Googled, and I said this way. I don't know if I was supposed to look it up this way, but I Googled Black men who go with white women, and I put in their beard. And I be doggone Brian, those men that were with the white women did not have a beard. They did not have a beard. If they had a beard, it was a goatee only. It was not a Rick Ross. Then I looked the other way with the white men liking the Black girls. They were bearded up. That's all
you wasn't on, but
oh my goodness.
I was explaining to Ellen. So I have a few degrees, and one of my degrees is in sociology. That's when it comes out in my writing, because sociology is the study of people, right?
Yes.
So it comes out in little ways like that. So, like I said, I am trying to entertain you. I'm also trying to educate you without beating you across the head with it. But my goal as a writer is to make you put down a book and think.
Yeah.
There's a line
definitely.
Michael talked in the book, he quotes Socrates when he says, I can't I can't learn you anything.
Mm-hmm.
All I can do is try to make you think.
Mhm,
Yes.
So that's my philosophy on writing.
Yeah.
mhm.
I'm just trying to make you think. So I'm smirking, I'm chuckling at the fact that, I'll be honest with you, I said to myself, I'm gonna have every person reading this book. When they put this book down, every time they see a black man and a white woman, the first thing they're gonna look to do is see if he got a beard.
Yeah.
They was not. It was a goatee. It was
Um,
clean. You said what he say? He told him less intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Oh my
So,
goodness, I
like
never thought about
now
that."
remember, Uncle Jamal, he has nothing to give his well-off nephew but knowledge.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I know if you're gonna throw a theory out there, you have to put some meat behind it. So I
Yeah.
created the jailhouse stories. where he's-
Yes, I love that. Oh
Mhm.
my God, I love that part. I mean, they're cool until they're not.
Yes. Woo! Y'all
I
gonna have to
love
read the
that
book.
quote.
Brian,
I mean,
Brian, I
that
know you have
was
to
such
go
a
somewhere.
gem. Oh my God.
He said, it's like they cool until they ain't.
Yes.
And
Yes.
we're not gonna give away the story, but
We're
let's
not.
just say
Yes.
that statement comes up again.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it does. Oh
So
my
you saying that there's
goodness.
another book?
No, I'm saying in
Okay.
the book.
Yeah, the statement comes up again. I know it came up
Mhm.
twice. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
just thinking another book. So
No,
Brian,
I don't. No. Let me be very clear
It's
for
done.
those of you who are watching. I don't do sequels.
yeah, he don't. He don't.
I don't do sequel. I just got too much on my plate, and I just.
Do
And
stand
besides,
alone.
I prefer I do sequels for my Sleepy Carter mystery series, but that's a series that's designed to be a series.
Sir.
Sonya
But
like that.
my other
yeah,
books are standalones.
I read the first book in the Sleepy Carter. I'm actually on the second book also. So
Well, I'm happy to announce that Sleepy Carter is real close to being turned into a television series.
Ooh.
yes. Oh my God, that is going to be so damn good. Excuse my
Yeah.
language, but yes.
It's-
yes.
My manager literally has it in Hollywood right now, and discussions are underway.
Yes,
Wow.
that's off. I mean, that first book, wow.
Yeah.
Sleepy. I mean, oh man, I was like, what? But anyway, back to this book.
Yeah.
Michael, he was my favorite character because he actually reminded me of one of my college professors that I work with, actually. And just like you, he reminded me of you from, because you teach also. And I was like, oh my God, this is my professor right here. I mean,
yeah.
Jesus, this man, Michael, I'm like, that's my professor.
Mhm.
I was like, damn, this is good.
I'm so happy y'all like the book.
Yeah, we
look,
do. We
it's,
like
loved
everything
it.
you write, Mike. I'm calling you Michael because
Right.
you told me you were Michael.
Right,
Person
right.
like you.
I knew, yeah, that's
Yeah,
Michael
so
right
you
there.
weren't
Yes,
on Sonya,
Michael
but
right there.
the way that came up is because she asked about the incident with the cop saying, "Are you scared?" And I told her that was based on a real story that happened to me.
Yeah,
I said,
yeah.
"I am Michael." So
I knew it.
yeah, so that was true. That really happened. So
Except the white girl, they didn't have that.
yeah, that part. Now I've never been married to a white woman. Nah. But so yeah, I look, what I'm finding in my career, so my brand is that I write thought-provoking novels with a twist. And what I've
Yes.
learned over the years is that if I don't put that twist in there, readers let me know about it. They let me know. I get emails, DMs. It was good, but it didn't have the twist. So every book has to have that. It's kind of like I painted myself in a corner, but it's a good problem to have. It's a good problem to
It's a
have,
good
but it has
one.
become part of my brand. So I spend a lot of time thinking, I need to get my point across. I want to write about this topic, but I got to leave them with a jaw-dropping ending. That probably takes more time than the actual plot. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, but that you did because Sonya, I was telling Brian earlier that after the twist, when the twist came, not giving anything away,
yeah,
you start thinking, well, whose body is it?
I was like, oh my God, I was like, well, who the heck is this person? And I was like, man, what?
That's all I'm saying.
You cannot tell. No giveaways. I'm just gonna say I didn't know whose body it was.
That's all we're saying.
I like Ernesto also because coming from a different country, I wasn't undocumented, but like being Jamaican and coming to America, like you go through it. You go through it. You go through the language barrier because people like, oh, what kind of language are you speaking? I was in high school. I was like, what kind of language is that? What is it? English? Is it broken English? Is it patois? What the heck is it? So I felt Ernesto's situation.
Yeah, Ernesto, I enjoyed writing Ernesto character because it made me more sensitive to
Mhm.
what immigrants do to get here.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
my God. I
I
didn't
never
even
thought
see
about
that
that.
part. I didn't even see that part coming with
Yeah,
Ernesto.
because
I was
my
like,
sister-in-law, she's Mexican. And so when
wow.
she was pregnant with her second child, something had happened she about being legal or something some years back. And so she went to visit Mexico and end up they made her stay there and she couldn't come back for a year. And she was
Wow.
pregnant with my nephew. So by the time she had the baby, it's like, oh, it's Negro. And she said, my husband's black. And they got over that. But he had to, it was hard for him to get his wife back, very
Yeah.
hard. And so I guess she's a citizen now. You know, they've been together since 1992. So 30 years in the making of them being together. But I never looked at that quite like you did that. I know you have to go, Brian,
Yeah.
but this
But
has
Yeah,
one
been
more
so
thing,
good.
yeah.
I want to say one of my other favorite characters was Miss Riley. I love her.
Miss Riley,
I love Miss Riley.
what'd you like
That
about her?
I mean the attitude, the spunk, the like. I have these people. I have my daddy wrapped around my little finger. Remind me of your G baby.
Mm.
Yeah. Look,
Yeah. I
yeah.
love all
You know
your
what?
posts about your G baby. I love them. They crack me
So
up.
even with my baby Riley, so
Mhm.
um, I decided to use her to bring out her mama's flaws.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Married to a black man,
Mhm.
best friend is black, half black baby.
Mhm.
But the moment she got approached by that black man,
Mhm.
she
That
reverted. She
yes,
reverted.
Yes, yes.
yes, she did. She
Oh,
did.
that could have been a Karen moment too.
Woo, that did. Yeah.
The subtle point I was trying to make was they cool until they ain't.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? There's a question that I wrote in the book. I'll leave you guys with this question. Is it possible to be married to a black man, have a baby with a black man, have a best friend that's black? That best friend, that black best friend is your child's godmother. Is it possible to be white, have all those things, and still be prejudiced?
Hell yes.
Yeah.
Hell yes, because I was gonna bring that up just now, right before you go off. I was gonna
It
be
is.
like, yeah, yeah, most definitely. I'm glad you put that question in there also because I was like, yeah, she reverted
Yeah,
at that
I
moment.
think also it's possible still that way. I think that it's always ingrained from a privileged aspect. I think it's always ingrained.
That's where it gets
Because
tricky.
Mm-hmm.
it's like, let's take Jay-Z for example. Before, let me just end on this note. Like you said, I'm a big Jay-Z fan, just like you are. Do or Die, Best Die, Marcy
Mhm,
Projects. I love Jay-Z. Like
mhm,
one of my favorites. And he's such a businessman too. I like his business side and
Mm-hmm.
everything. And
mhm.
I love his
Mm-hmm.
rap. Now, it's like they say, don't let this suit fool you. And that's all I have to say.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just say this. My sister always calls me her educated thug.
Don't let this fool suit you,
Don't
okay?
don't 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 get it twisted.
Oh
Yes,
I was I was
exactly.
I was
Exactly.
born and raised in New Orleans in the hood.
Mhm.
Don't matter of fact, I grew up on the same block, literally on the same block as the rapper Lil Wayne.
Oh wow.
So so I yeah. So look, we can all elevate, but oftentimes um, we're not too far from our roots.
yeah.
Thank
Brian,
you.
what do you want them to have as a takeaway and tell them what
I
platform
want
you
I
listen
want this book. I want the book. The goal of the book is to make people realize that when they are arguing with people, debating, the person's opinion more often than not has less to do with what you're arguing about and more to do with their baggage.
Thank you.
And as far as readers, I want readers to describe all of my books, including this, as, look, I don't even know what the topic of that particular BWS book is about, but it's going to probably have you thinking. It's going to probably get you in your feelings, and it's going to have a twist that you don't see coming.
Yeah.
Whether it be K.A.R.E.N or Paper Bag or If These Trees Could Talk, any book that I've written, that's what I want you guys to take away. I want to be known as the author. I just want to be consistent. I just want to be, I'm not trying to be the best. I just want to be considered damn good.
Yeah. And you
Well,
are
you're
the best.
You're the best.
You are the best. And I want to tell you too,
yes,
that I really like the fact that you bring each time your originality. There's nothing the same. Nothing the same.
Thank you thank you for that. I spent a lot of time. I told Ellen before you got on, Sonia, anybody can write a book about a K.A.R.E.N incident.
exactly.
I mean, that anybody can write a book about a white woman going off. I mean, that's easy. To me, the story within the story is how people react to it. You know what I'm saying? That to me, that's the story. What you say, Sonia?
And the different viewpoints from individual that was in that situation.
Yes.
Because everyone had a different viewpoint as far as what happened. But I just also want to say thank you for writing this book and for writing Paper Bag, because that book in itself, good Lord have mercy, man.
Yes.
Look, as a friend of mine in New Orleans told me when I decided to write that book, because as the book said, I mean, I'm from the place where the paper bag test started in New Orleans. So I remember my friend said, "Oh, you about to kick the ant mound with this one." You get it? Y'all get that phrase?
And you did.
About to kick the ant mound in New Orleans. That basically means, you know, when you kick an ant mound and people and ants start going crazy. Oh, you about to start something with this. You about to kick the ant mound, and that's what I tried to do. I'm happy to announce that Paper Bag is in the process of being converted to a screenplay. It's going to be pitched to Hollywood as well. So great things are coming.
We're so proud of you. We're so proud of you.
This December, I'll leave you guys with this. I already talked about Sleepy Carter in Hollywood right now. My book, Hoarder, I wrote a book called Hoarder about 10 years ago. It has been optioned and it's being turned into a movie this December.
Awesome.
So the movie Hoarder will be coming out. My next Sleepy Carter book is called Voodoo.
Oh, wow. I can't wait to read. I mean, I'm on book 2 and I need to go through them.
Every book has a New Orleans theme about something that's uniquely New Orleans.
Yes.
And in this book 6 in the series is called Voodoo.
I love that title.
Yeah. And what I'm doing is I'm giving you a history lesson on voodoo and how it got to the States, coming with its Haitian roots and how it got with the slaves that came to New Orleans. But in the middle of all that lesson, you got a murder mystery. And Sleepy Carter, my Sherlock Holmes, you know what I'm saying? He's gonna figure it out. So that's what's happening with that. And as far as what other book I'm gonna write, I'll be honest with you, I don't know what my next standalone novel is gonna be. Okay. I'm writing books for other people and screenplays for other people, so I'm kind of busy. But that's what's going on with me. Check out Voodoo. It drops on August the 15th. I just posted on Facebook today that if you want to read an excerpt of Voodoo, go on my Facebook page. Just type in Brian W. Smith, go on the Facebook page and put your email in the post. And tomorrow I'm sending out 4 chapters to everybody that's listed on there. You'll get the first 4 chapters of Voodoo.
I did that earlier, so I'm ready to see it. I already like
For everyone that's listening, please go post a review. Look, if you
Most
want,
definitely
if
will.
you like, not just me, if you like an author's work, I can't say this enough, man. So I'm signed to Simon & Schuster, but my contract, I'm allowed to put out books on my own. Let me tell you something. Even with Simon & Schuster, they are not dumping money into us. We don't have this big engine that these white authors have, these big things sending us on these long book tours. They're not doing all that. They're not. I don't care who your most successful Black author you can think of. Whoever you want that person to be, you can pluck their name out the sky. They don't have 1/4 of the marketing budget of some of these white authors who aren't even as successful. There are debut authors with bigger marketing and promotional budgets than the most popular Black author you can name. So
Eric Jerome.
look, EJD and I talked a lot, and we some of the things we talked about. So they're just not. So we have to rely on our, I hate the word fan, on our readers.
Yes.
To tell the world, and the easiest way to do that is to go on Amazon and post a review. That review will be seen by thousands. You ain't even got to talk to 1,000 people. Just post a review. That'll get to 1,000. And so go post a review if you like the book, and I will stay in my lab here and just try to come up with something new.
We most definitely will.
All right, I appreciate y'all. Thank you. Thank you for supporting me. I just thank you so much for reading my work. I really appreciate it.
Thank you too for bringing it.
Thank you, Brian.
All right.
I have 3 books on my shelf to read.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I want you to slow down some, Brian. I'm a little bit slow. So you need to just pause. Just do something else. Do something, TV something, so I can catch up.
Look,
I got like about 10
I
or
am
11
a full-time writer. Slow feet don't eat. When you are,
I know, but do some movies or something, because I got like
you know what?
10 books that I haven't read
them out the way I do.
on my Kindle. Slow down. No, you're not. Keep it going.
I crank them out the way I do because what people don't know about me is that I'm usually writing 2 or 3 books. I'm not even talking about for other people. For myself, I'm usually writing 2 or 3 books at the same time. They're in different stages.
Wow.
So that's why I can come out with 2 and 3 books a year, is because I'm usually writing 2 or 3 novels for myself a year. They're just in different stages. I'm not like some authors where they'll just finish 1 book and take a 2-month break. I'm usually writing multiple books at the same time. So that's why I can keep cranking them out. So look, I gotta go.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I appreciate y'all.
Thank you, Sonia. Thank you so
Take care,
much.
sir. You're
I'm out of here. Y'all be good.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
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 Bye.
Bye-bye. I'm gonna be here with the folks. Go ahead and drop yourself down. That was Brian W. Smith. We read his book, K.A.R.E.N. You guys, you're gonna love it. I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of a glare over here, over there. But thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for our guests tonight. We got quite a few things coming up. Y'all stay tuned. For May, I'm gonna let you guys know, but this is our June book. Our June book of the month. This is by Dr. Daniel Black, Don't Cry for Me. This book is about a father, Jacob, his son, Isaac. He's writing letters from his dying bed to his son, and he'll see some richness about his heritage, a tumultuous relationship that his mom had. And so there's some things, and his son, Isaac, is gay. And so you'll see some different things that he wrote, some letters on his dying bed to his son. So this is gonna come up June 28th. Also in June, we're gonna have on Clubhouse, that's gonna be, Don't Cry for Me is gonna be on Facebook. And so on Clubhouse, we're gonna have our father wounds. We're gonna talk about fathers. So that month is fathers, June is Father's Day. So we're gonna talk to Doc Frederick, 101 things every man should know to experience a life of victory and impact. But we're gonna sit around talking that rich manhood. Also on the 21st, we're gonna pull back and talk to Hakeem Stokes, his book, The Purple Orchid Syndrome. This story talks about men that he interviewed about fatherhood. So we'll hear these two stories over on the Clubhouse side. And also we are still talking to Melvina Gray, the Willie Gray story. Her husband passed complications to comeback related PTSD. You can get this book on Amazon or on her website under the Willie Gray story. We are going to be having her coming up in May. So that will be, I'm going to tell you guys what else is here. So from our calendar as in May, I don't want to miss anything. So on May the 24th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, this will be on Instagram. We're going to talk to Portia Childs. That's Portia Childs, Chiles. And we're going to talk about Black girls with fibroids. And then May 26th, we'll talk about the Willie Gray story with Melvina Gray. And then on the 31st, we're going to talk about prom. So that's an open door right there on Clubhouse. We want to talk about prom 2022. Are the girls choosing to go stag? Let's talk about that. That's an open forum, and that's going to be at 8 p.m. And also the Melvina story will be at 8 p.m. and that is on Instagram. And the prom conversation will be on Clubhouse. And also in June, here's our June calendar, those who just peeking on just a little bit and still hanging around. So on June 7th, we're going to talk to Jackie Vernon Thompson. She is the president and founder of From the Inside Out School of Etiquette. And so we're going to talk to her, and that is going to be on Instagram at 8 p.m. Again, that's Jackie Vernon Thompson, president and founder of From the Inside Out School of Etiquette. And then on the 8th of June, we will talk to Melvina Gray, and that is going to be on Clubhouse. And also we will talk about the fatherhood, which is with Doc Fredrickson about fatherhood. And that's on the 14th and on the 16th. All of these are on Clubhouse. On the 16th, we'll talk to Arthur Carol J. Williams, and we'll talk about grief and mental health. And then that will be at 8 p.m. And then also, like we said, Hakeem Stokes' fatherhood. And on the 28th of June, Dr. Daniel Black, Don't Cry for Me. Thank you guys for being here. Time has been well spent. I thank you for your data, for your time. You guys have been great. Had a wonderful time with Michael. I'm calling him Michael now because he said he's the character, but don't get me. We had some fun with Brian W. Smith. It was certainly awesome. And you guys enjoy yourself and have a wonderful day. Good night.